Well, thank you so much for coming out for this screening of the Ghosts of Adelanto, the rise of Abolish ICE. This is, I think, a really important film for this moment that we're in right now. One of the reasons why I wanted to show this film is that it was made before Trump's second term. And I wanted to emphasize the fact that ICE was a problem before Trump's second term. And I don't want that to be forgotten when Trump leaves. We need to keep up the demand to abolish ICE. And also, I've probably just driven my campaign manager, Ashley Brown, crazy by not saying hi. My name is Sean Dougherty, and I am running for Congress in California. I never say my name. Well, maybe that reflects the fact that this campaign to me is not about me. You know, I didn't plan to say this in my remarks, but the truth is, when I first chose to run, I had this concept of a campaign where I didn't use my name and I didn't use my face. It was just going to be this issue-based campaign, and my wife said, well, that's stupid. Yeah, there has to be a candidate. Unfortunately, that's how it works.
Not necessarily stupid, Seed's ideas at least.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. It was not stupid. I'll go tell her that.
Yeah, because I always feel like I was stupid, but I think people at least hear about abolition now because of me.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, the issues certainly matter, and I don't mean to say otherwise, but also the candidate does matter. That ultimately there has to be a name on the ballot, of course. So the way the event is going to work is I'm going to have a few introductory remarks. We will watch the film. It's fairly short. It's just under an hour. We'll take a little break. We've got a local candidate who we'd like to give a chance to speak. Athena, who is running for City Council in Marina.
Hey, clap, clap, clap.
So, actually, Athena, do you want to just stand up real quick? Do you mind? That's Athena. So if you're going to leave, if you aren't able to stick around for the Q&A we're going to do after the film, maybe at least go introduce yourself to Athena. The reason why I'm running for Congress is that we don't have representation right now. There is a person who has the title of being our representative, but we all know he's not representing us. And I don't think there's any single reason why, but I think there's one particularly important why that's really easy to prove, which is his campaign donations. And does anybody know what Jimmy Panetta's #1 campaign donor has been in his 10 years in office? Does it? Huh? AIPAC, exactly, AIPAC, that's right. And it's really a shocking piece of information, because when we first started looking at his campaign finance after October 7th, we didn't see any AIPAC donations coming up on fec.gov. Like, we were specifically looking for that AIPAC money to explain some of the behavior that we were seeing him in the immediate aftermath. But then when the FEC filings, the quarterly filings came out in December, we saw like $130,000 all at once. And it was a record-setting amount. And then the money has kept coming in. And now you can go to Track AIPAC's website and you can see he's taken over $1 million. And I think that money means something, right? These organizations don't just give out that kind of money for nothing. Obviously, there are strings attached. And so to me, it is a very safe claim to make that Jimmy Panetta has taken legal bribes to support a Holocaust in Gaza. And we can also see that behind the scenes, he has been supporting what's going on in Iran. So on the War Powers Resolution, he voted the way that we wanted recently. So now he can make that claim on the campaign trail that he voted against this war, but it's much more complicated than that. Jimmy was laying the groundwork for this war for years. He was introducing legislation, co-sponsoring legislation that was building up our military presence in the Gulf states. He introduced a bill last year called the Maximum Support Act, which explicitly stated its goal of regime change in Iran. So, and
Can you say that again?
So in 2025,
Yeah.
Jimmy Panetta introduced a bill called the Maximum Support Act. And in that bill, it explicitly stated its goal of overthrowing the government of Iran. And through a variety of means, including bribing government officials to defect, providing satellite internet connections to dissidents, a whole host of means. And it was very much connected to the Trump regime's maximum pressure, is that what it's called? Maximum pressure, the economic sanctions regime, right? So it was named to pair up with it. And Jimmy was just one of two people that introduced that bill. Okay, so when Jimmy says that he's against what's happening in Iran right now, that's a lie. Like, we're at about day 30 of the war in Iran now. And don't forget that Jimmy was one of the co-sponsors of that so-called bipartisan war powers resolution that gave Trump 30 days, authority for 30 days to conduct this war. So everything we've seen in this war up until now, Jimmy Panetta introduced legislation supporting that. And we shouldn't forget that. He's trying to posture as a peace candidate, and we cannot let him get away with that. That's a lie. Yeah, go
Why
ahead.
do you think at the last minute he yanked his support? He was one of 6 extremely moderate Democrats who was pushing that 30-day thing.
Well, I hope to...
I hope it was us.
That's about what yeah, exactly. I hope that it was the pressure from us. And look, I don't think he expected a challenger in this primary. As you know, I think maybe most of you know, I was originally running as a Green Party candidate. And at the last minute, I switched to Democrat because another anti-war Democrat entered the race. And I said to that person, we can't split the vote. So we came to a compromise where I switched to Democrat. I think once he saw the structure of the ballot, that there was one Democrat against him and then 2 Republicans and a Libertarian splitting the right-wing vote, I think he feels a lot of pressure right now. I can tell you, when we went around gathering signatures to get on the ballot, we went to these anti-ICE protests and we gathered like 1,000 signatures. We talked to a lot of constituents and they were furious with him. When I said to people, here, I need your signature to get on the ballot, they would say, oh, well, what do you do? Blah, 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 blah. If I said, I'm running against Jimmy Panetta, will you help me get on the ballot? They'd say, give me that. Rip it out of my hands. His constituents are furious with him. But going back to the campaign donations, it's not just the Israel lobby, although that is his #1 donor. It's also the real estate industry. In the 2024 election cycle, that was his second biggest donor, was the real estate industry. And I think we all understand, if his biggest donor is the real estate industry, we're not gonna get affordable housing. We're gonna get more expensive housing, right? That's all we're gonna get, solutions to that end. The only legislation I'm aware of that Jimmy Panetta has introduced recently related to housing was something that cut taxes on the sales of homes. How does that help people like me who are renters? How does that help Gen Z who doesn't own a home yet? They're trying to buy in. It doesn't help them. His priority is with the real estate industry, not the constituents who need to buy homes or to rent homes. What was his third biggest donor in 2024? The insurance industry. Is he going to fight for a single-payer healthcare system, Medicare for all? No, of course not. Is he going to fight to make home insurance affordable? You know, more and more people in California and throughout the country, for that matter, can't afford to insure their homes because of climate change, right? All these wildfires. So I think, #1, we can't have representation when the person filling that seat is bought by interests from outside of our district. I don't want campaign donations at all. I want a publicly financed election. I think that's the solution. And there's a really easy way for people to know that Jimmy's bought and I'm not, which is they can go to Track APAC and they can see that blaring red square with Jimmy's face on it and that $1 million plus that he's taken from the Israel lobby, and they can look at the green square with Sean Dougherty and it says $0. So it's really easy, and this is something I encourage people to share on social media, help inform people in this district. So my policy platform is, I think, pretty typical for a progressive. That I don't mean that in a good or a bad way. It's just I'm a Bernie-crat. You know, that's my roots. Yeah, I came from Bernie. 2016 was the first time that I really participated in electoralism. So, like, if you look at our campaign shirts, Abolish ICE. Well, that's kind of a new one, but Bernie didn't really run on that. Tax the billionaires, end pesticide abuse, healthcare for all, education for all, housing for all, overturn Citizens United, and then of course end the genocide in Gaza, in Palestine. But I almost feel embarrassed saying this. I almost feel embarrassed enumerating my policy positions because I personally am so frustrated with hearing politicians say all these things that I want to see happen, and then they get into office and then nothing happens. Like the parliamentarian got in their way, or the bill never got out of committee, or the sun got in their eyes. And so it's a real problem. So one thing I want to promise to people is if I get into Congress, I am going to use the same technique that Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie used to get the Epstein Files Transparency Act passed, which is the discharge petition. Because that means that in order to get a bill voted on, we can just go directly to the members of the House and say, sign this, and if they won't, then we go to their constituents and we say, your member will not support this bill that you support. So I just want to completely sidestep party leadership, completely sidestep these various caucuses, go directly to the people and put fear into these representatives, right? And so there are a lot of bills that I like to see passed, but I think one of the first ones that I would like to do is, especially after Trump is removed from office, so this would be like 2028, abolish ICE. Let's do a discharge petition to abolish ICE. And a second would be single-payer health care. I would like either at the national level or pursuing single-payer at the state level. I actually support both of those approaches. Oh, excuse me. So this campaign has a policy platform that is very popular, and we're running against an incumbent that is increasingly unpopular. And a lot of people around here are becoming aware of his corruption. And I think that we've got a really good chance, actually, to survive the June primary. We've got two Republicans and a Democrat, two Republicans and a Libertarian that are running, which splits the right-wing vote, which reduces the threshold that we have to meet with this campaign to get second place and to survive June. And this is a really important thing for you to tell your friends. Like, this is realistic, and also voting for Sean doesn't risk putting a Republican into that seat. In fact, it's the opposite. Voting for me hurts the Republican. So I think this is a viable campaign, and I think people are going to get excited about it. And to that end, I would encourage people to sign up to volunteer. We've got some sample door hangers on the table back there. And we would like to, I meant to bring one up, I forgot to. Thanks.
Ceiling is leaking, so that's what's going on.
Okay.
It's actively leaking.
Yeah, so we've got these door hangers. We've got thousands of these, and we need help putting them up. And actually, we're open to partnering with local campaigns that we can walk doors together. You know, you can put up our lit, we'll put up your lit, that kind of thing. But it lists my endorsers, including DSA Central Coast. Thank you, DSA Central Coast. Track APAC. And then here we list Jimmy's campaign donors. The logos, that probably won't show up on the camera, but you've got the weapons manufacturers and APAC, Citibank, Morgan Stanley, etc. Yeah. I do think that we can do this. I think this is the best chance that we've had to damage Jimmy or to even unseat him since Adam Scow ran in 2020. Because the advantage that Adam Scow had in 2020 was Bernie was running the presidential primary. So that turned out a bunch of people that supported Adam. I think right now a lot of people are going to be motivated to turn out because they're furious with Jimmy because of his corruption that is becoming so widely known, and his weak opposition, if you could even call it that, to Trump's agenda, particularly to do with ICE and with the war in Iran. So I really think we've got a good chance here.
I think it's nothing burger fatigue here with him.
Yeah, well, I mean, how can he possibly stand up to the Trump agenda when he's paid by the same people that are dictating the Trump agenda? It's just superficial opposition. You know, at the heart of it, they've got the same agenda. Let's turn to this film now. As I said, it's about under an hour. We're going to talk about it after the film is done, but just very quickly, my campaign calls for the abolition of ICE. Prisons and guns are not the approach. I mean, these are families that we're talking about putting in these cages, and our government is going to keep doing that even after Trump leaves, and the establishment of both parties wants to keep doing that. Like, even right now, what we're seeing coming from the Democratic Party leadership and from establishment politicians like Jimmy Panetta is calls for mild reforms like body cameras or better training. And this film will touch on that a little bit, the idea of reform and how it's just not going to work. We need full abolition. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get the film going. So we're going to do a Q&A. That can be about anything that y'all want. But first, I want you to hear from Athena. Athena is running for City Council in Marina. And I'm very excited to be partnering with a local campaign. I think this is a fantastic way to wage these progressive upstart campaigns to fight the machine. Because you know they're all working together on that side.
Yeah.
In my city, Santa Cruz, all the Coonerty signs are up. That's the establishment mayoral candidate. And they're all next to the Panetta signs. You know, it's all one club. So we got to do the same thing, y'all. All right, so come on up, Athena.
Thank you so much, Sean, for the warm introduction and welcome to this event. My name's Athena Burciaga. I go by she, her, Aya pronouns, and I'm running for City Council in Marina's 4th District. Thank you. Hence the name Athena for Marina. That's my Instagram handle. We'll have a website with the same name coming up soon, but yeah, like Sean said, I do identify as a democratic socialist, but really the point of our chapter is to bring in a lot of this progressive grassroots energy and centralize it into one place. We've done a great job so far, I believe, over the past year of getting in touch with groups such as Peachy Progressives, Indivisible, and we're also looking to help support the Protect Cleanest Renters movement coming up as well. And we're in contact with them. We have a group chat with some of their leaders and coordinate on actions and such. But I am running for City Council to first and foremost address the housing affordability crisis that we have not only in Marina, but all over the peninsula. I mean, I have friends that I go to school with that are homeless. I have a family member, my cousin, that lives out here who lived in his car for the better part of his, who was homeless for the better part of his education here at CSUMB after he got kicked out of student housing. And we have a 20% rate of student homelessness among students in Monterey County. Not just university students, but K through 12 as well.
Wow.
And if you include the students that are living in multifamily homes, like a couple families in one apartment, that goes up to 35%. So there's babies, children, teenagers that are going to school that don't have a home. So it's absolutely atrocious. And we need leadership right now that actually wants to lead and take action and not have to sit around in their asses all day while we have to go organize to force them to do their damn job. So I'm running for city council not just to be an elected official. I'm first and foremost an organizer and always will be. So I'm looking to make sure that this is a campaign that not only, that doesn't stop if I get elected in November, but it's continuing to grow and grow to where we could affect real change out here. So I also wanted to say a word on the Abolish ICE movement. I am the granddaughter of a farm worker who, I'm about, I think in third or fourth generation. I've been slowly learning my family history over the years, and my family escaped violence in Mexico a couple generations ago to come live here in America. And my grandfather worked so hard to provide us with a future that we currently are living in right now. Worked as a farm worker in San Antonio, Texas, and also as an iron worker along with my uncle and my dad. And he unfortunately did pass away when I was 6 years old at the age of 50. And I don't think that we should be, not only should we expect better for the people that are out providing our food, working as farm workers and also as blue collar workers, but we should also not continually use their bodies as for profit by these systems that we saw in the movie that we just viewed. So I think to do justice to not only the people that are suffering today under our current immigration and prison and industrial complex, but also the people who have passed away fighting for a better future for our brothers and sisters that currently still walk among us. We need to pressure our politicians, come out and fight to make sure that their hard work wasn't in vain. So yeah, thank you so much for your time today. And let's hope that we also get Jimmy Panetta out of office as well in November.
So I'm just going to make a couple comments. One is, I don't really understand why Jimmy Panetta is a reformist on ICE. It's not like the war in Iran or the war, the genocide in Gaza, where we've got this really obvious campaign contribution trail. You know, we've got that obvious conflict of interest. We've been looking at his campaign finances, trying to find something like a for-profit prison, for example. But he's following the marching orders of the party leadership, right? Like when he calls for these really minor reforms to ICE, like the body cameras or no masks, you know, that's the same thing that we're hearing from Jeffries and Schumer. So whatever the reason is, it comes from on high. You know, it's something bigger than Panetta, and I'm very curious to know what people in this room think is the explanation. But, oh yeah.
Oh, I was gonna ask, have you looked into, I think congressional candidates have to file their investments too, right? Have you looked into whether he has any investments in GEO or one of these other groups?
I don't think we have. I think we've just looked at his FEC filings, like the campaign donation. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Because I would love to find that direct connection to these for-profit prisons. But, you know, I guess it doesn't even need to be the for-profit prisons. I think that generally corporate America benefits from having this underclass. Actually, oh my God, big ag. That's what I forgot, Big Ag. He gets a lot of money from Big Ag, and Big Ag, of course, really benefits from having this underclass of workers who are not protected by any laws and can be paid sub-minimum wages and exploited in a variety of ways. So I guess that's the best explanation I can come up with, I think. But anybody else? Yeah, Jazz, go ahead.
So what I think is happening, because, is that we live in a very traumatized world. And I'm an abolitionist, a local abolitionist. Turns out I was not born an abolitionist, just full of love. My bio mom named me Sweetie. I was in an orphanage. And at 6 months, I was like, a lot of orphans are not okay, you know, or you know, they, being in an orphanage, you know, I'm just laying there for so many years. And so, but anyways, I was getting to my point. But the point is that, like, well, the answer to that other question, I guess that was important for some reason. Well, I was like displaced from homeland, I was displaced from language, I was displaced from a lot of things. And I'm finding my way back. And so anyways, what I see as an abolitionist is that my view is that what's happening is because this world's so traumatized, people are, and it's increasing, but is it? Oh no, it's not. Okay, I think it's getting better because generationally people are starting to heal, and every generation seems less traumatized than the last in some ways. So the police and all the policing institutions are upping their ante, and so they have to feel, you know, so to justify their existence. And so I think what happened with Pineda and Iran is he's always been on the side of the capitalists and the powers that be.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I have to say, I don't think the people writing in changed his mind. I think what changed his mind was he was for the war, it was whatever's convenient, right? He was for the war in Iran, and then he's against it now, right? Because the war in Iran is tipping the global scale. I mean, if you don't support, in a way, the war in Iran, then you're saying that we're okay with the U.S. imperialism and U.S. and statehood and Israel winning. That's not good. So I know we usually fight for a country, but I'm an abolitionist. We shouldn't have borders. And so I think I really think it's the reckoning for the West. And I think the West is crumbling. And like, I don't want anyone to die ever. And I just think this is like, so I have nothing to do with this war. So I'm like, you know what, this is the dismantling. Because abolition, you dismantle all policing and you build up a better world. And literally, that's what it is, and that's what my life has been, because I've been gaslit for 38 years until yesterday, and I might still get gaslit. But anyways, it's been. I literally.
Not gonna stop,
Oh my God, it's not going to stop. I just realized how much racism I have experienced in Santa Cruz. There are my abusers still in Santa Cruz, and I see them at events, and you know, I don't even have hate in my heart for anyone. I'm just like I'm shaking off the physical effects of trauma still. But I healed my trauma, I'm so excited. But, so that's what I think is happening, is like, he does, you know, he's fighting for us to keep that power. But like, I think it's important that we say, well, this was what I'm gonna say, is like, for you, John, is if you vote for Pineda, you're voting for genocide.
Yeah.
I think that's a powerful statement. From a BIPOC who
Yeah.
doesn't feel safe, I'm also gonna say I don't feel safe with Pineda, I feel safe with you. And that's how I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
advocate for the clients, you know, for you, Heather, and for Joe.
Thank you, Jazz. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to talk about how this this system of like keeping so many people in this perpetual state of being undocumented, so that like these big ag corporations can pay them like nothing. It also really helps the military-industrial complex,
Oh, right.
especially with recruitment, because
Yeah.
I've worked at Gonzales High School in the Salinas Valley, being like a mentor, like helping kids with chemistry, math homework. And just like, I also help them with like looking for colleges, like the after high school stuff. So many of the boys have no real prospects for life other than the military because their parents are so poor and their school is so underfunded. The math teacher had to run from one class to the other class because there wasn't another math teacher. I had to just be there with, I'm not a math teacher, bro, I'm still undergraduate. Like, I should not have been the one in that classroom making sure all the kids were getting the math lesson they needed. And it's just ridiculous. These kids don't want to go into, be forced into the military because it's the only thing that will give them any prospects in life. They want to play sports and play soccer, or like work on cars, or they want to go to college and study marine life. Like, they deserve a chance to actually become full Americans and fully benefit from this country and give benefits to this country. If we let kids like go to their full potential, they can do wonderful things for America. But no, we keep their parents in this perpetual state of being a criminal for just wanting a better life for their kids, and then force their kids into this meat grinder and send them to Iran to get blown up by missiles. Like, no, these children deserve a good life. And I think you might actually be able to give them that. And if you can do that, I will support you all the way.
I wasn't fishing for endorsement.
So in answer to your question, Sean, I don't know Jimmy Panetta personally, but I am of the impression, in watching him over the past, say, 10 years, that he's phoning it in. And
Did you say he's phoning it in?
that he's phoning it in. He does
Yeah.
not seem to be actively introducing legislation, nor actively supporting legislation that is meaningful. He's continued to vote for some of the policies that his dad put into place. And so, in understanding Jimmy Panetta, I think it's really important to understand his family.
Definitely.
Legacy family,
Definitely.
and, yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Panetta's dad was a Republican until the Nixon era.
True.
Leon Panetta is a law and order man. He imposed law and order on Bill Clinton's
That's a good
cabinet.
point. Yeah.
He's the one who was the Secretary of Defense under Obama. He's the one who got Osama bin Laden. This is his son. Who went in-
CIA also.
Right.
Right.
CIA,
Right.
someone said,
His
yeah.
son went into the military and served during Iraq for the minimum amount of time in a desk job, but of course was an officer. Law and order. Jimmy Panetta's married to a judge. Law and order. I just think that's where they're coming from. If there was not a Trump Republican, but a regular Republican Party, they would be in it.
Right. True. Right. No, that's a really interesting point. It's just like with what I was saying at the opening of this event, I was talking about how Jimmy seems to have a genuine belief in the ideology of Zionism, right? Like his first foreign affairs vote was in support of settlements in the West Bank. So yeah, it's just like what you're saying that, yeah, there may not be a money trail there. He just genuinely believes in it. That's a great point. Thank you. Anybody else have a question or comment? Yeah, go ahead, Henry.
Well, one comment to pick up what Martin was saying, it relates when the students only have a pathway into the military, a lot of the time that's because it's one of the only reliable ways to get on the path to citizenship. If you're undocumented, serving
That's
in
a
the
really
military
good point,
is,
yeah.
and I guess my question would be, are there any ICE detention facilities in the California 19 district?
I'm not sure. Do we know the answer on that?
I thought there was one, but it's like on the other side.
This, by the way, Ashley, can you stand up and say hi to people? I don't think you've been introduced. This is Ashley Brown, my campaign manager / Oppo researcher.
So, I don't have that answer, but now that I'm standing, I do want to say something really quick to what you said.
Yeah, go ahead, take the mic.
I want to say, to what you said and to what you said, and I'm sorry, I'm bad with names, I think you said it once, but Jimmy is very, very actively recruiting. And he is establishing new ways to do this. He has engaging next generation leaders in Information About Service and Training Act. So that's the Enlist Act, bringing recruiting to schools, basically, or back into schools. He introduced the Service Enlistment and Recruitment of Valuable Engagement Act, or the SERVE Act. This was all last year. There's also the pathway to policing. There's Invest to Protect. So he's basically trying to make it look like they're the good guys, like they are the protectors, and that's kind of like what the program is, in a variety of ways. That's what he's doing. So he does introduce legislation all the time. And then the only other thing I wanted to say really quick was how he brings together the enforcement agencies is significant. he'll put these things together like the Mail Act. Like, I don't know if you saw this, but he had these, like, Pirates Act. It's like porch pirates and all these kind of things. And they sound ridiculous, but this one, for example, is like the Mail Theft Act. So now it's requiring federal agencies to work with the state and local law enforcement for mail theft, right? So yeah, so there's another one, and it was Introduced Retail Crime Act, Introduced Organized Retail Crime Act to streamline how agencies coordinate for federal, state, and local enforcement. So in all these, like, there's a long list, and this is from like, these are all from 2025. So last year, it's this coordinated effort with agencies now. That's what I wanted to, like, just piggyback on. I'm sorry.
Thanks for bringing that up. That definitely is giving me flashbacks to the George W. Bush administration when they started creating these fusion centers where they were bringing the federal and the local together. And I feel like where we're at now is just the most extreme form of it with ICE, where it's now like the Gestapo force, right? Amanda?
I didn't quite hear the question about the ICE detention center. What was
Is there one in our district?
our district? No, but in California, yes.
Yeah.
The largest is in Texas, if that surprises you at all.
Go ahead.
Oh my gosh, I was like, I haven't, anyways, I think this is a source from Jimmy Panetta, but I can't tell. Or maybe they're just saying, so it said, I looked it up. The 19th Congressional District has no major ICE detention center, so I don't know what that means. Located directly within District 9, though detainees are often held in facilities elsewhere in California, such as the Adelanto or Mesa Verde centers.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Cool. Thanks, Jess.
Yeah, you're welcome, people know.
Definitive
The
answer.
largest
Yes.
is in Kern County.
Jess?
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
One thought on that, I don't know if we know if it would be happening here, that like in Sacramento, there's a federal building that houses several federal agencies and like including National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, all kinds of different federal agencies, and like 1 or 2 floors is border, like ICE, whatever, there's a few different of those agencies, and they're holding people in the basement of that building where it is not designed for residency at all. It is not designed to hold people, they're doing it anyway. So I don't even know if could that be happening somewhere in our district? Maybe.
Right, that's a great point. Go ahead.
I just want to say that I think your campaign and this movie is so important because, you know, I have experienced way too much racism here in Santa Cruz. And I grew up in San Luis Obispo, and that's whiter than Santa Cruz. And Santa Cruz is known to be more, is known to be liberal. We are not. I think we are fascist because of what's happening to BIPOCs here and what's happening to me here, so I can say that for sure. And we just said, So anyways, I would feel, I just healed my trauma. I'm writing a book about it. Anyways, the point is, like, I don't feel safe here. I have to be careful here. Let me say that. I have to be very careful. I have to, I want to feel safe. I finally healed my trauma. I'm shaking off the somatic effects. I just want to be free. That's what I always say. And we are not free till we're all free, right?
Agreed.
I'm not safe. I'm free, but I'm not safe. And so what I have to do is calculate every move. Literally a few days ago, I started getting traumatized nonstop to the point where I didn't sleep since Wednesday night because I was traumatized all night, seeking support, and nobody believed me. Every friend I sought support from didn't understand what I was saying, and then gaslit me in a sense. And I was like, what is happening? And they're all going to be fine because I'm very quick to forgive, and it helped me get over the hump of healing. But it's like we have to make Santa Cruz, and it's funny because your district, oh my gosh, District 19 for the Congress are all the cities that I have once lived in or want to live in. I came from San Luis Obispo. I'm thinking about getting more involved in Monterey to support people here, like Athena, and because I really like what Athena said. Thank you so much. And we have to have you in there, of course. And I heard from another BIPOC friend and another autistic BIPOC like me, just like me. And only 18, and he also has an eidetic memory, which means we learn something once, and if it's significant, we remember it, so we remember a lot of things. And he's very big in investigating like corruption and exposing things. And he said that Monterey County is much more fascist than we are. And I can't even believe that. I mean, my experience is pretty unique, but to be this messed up. But I went to SCPD the other day, and they literally traumatized us. I was going for a good reason. It all like I had all the things they said we needed, and this was to get a friend's car out of the tow yard. And they made that impossible. The tow yard said my friend was banned. They told me like, just all these things. I was like, why? And they said, we don't want anything to do with your friend. I was like, you can't do that. So I was like, what? And then they were like, well, your friend's not allowed to come in. And so I said, okay. And they're like, you're the authorized representative though. Only you can come in. So I said, if he comes with me, can he stand out the gate? They said, no. I was like, I don't. So then I was like, what? He can stand down the street. And my friend is a BIPOC. So I was like, what? And I am too. And I think that they know who we are. So anyways, I was still authorized until I called them to say I had all the paperwork. And this was extreme towing. So you should know, tow places are terrible. They take people's shelter. They don't let you get your belongings. So my friend had belongings in the car, was willing to abandon the car, but they wouldn't let any of us in. Because when I asked the question, why can't he stand outside of your property on the street? Do you have a restraining order? She said, then she switched. She was like, you know what? You can't come, you're not authorized. I don't like your attitude. I was like, I asked a question, and then she was hostile, and then she hung up on me. And then the officer at SCPD was, I've actually had good experiences in terms of the humanity of I haven't been harassed. Well, actually, that's not true. Never mind. But the point, there was a white lady who came out with a BIPOC partner who was her subordinate. Or their subordinate, I don't know their pronouns, and I could tell the BIPOC was looking at us with such empathy in their eyes, and it turned out my friend knows that person, and is like, they're good, I mean, they're a cop, but the other one is just like, the white lady just came out with such a hostile energy, and then, just said, you can't do this. I was like, no, I called 3 times. I was like, I called 3 times, and I got everything they said. It doesn't matter. I was like, what do you mean it doesn't matter? It's just things like this. And then I started shaking and crying, and then my friend kind of was like, lovingly, you either need to calm down or go outside, which feels really invalidating. And I realized my fear that popped in my mind is that if I cry in front of this lady, she already doesn't like us. She could hospitalize me, right? Because with my history, and I've also, my history is that I got hospitalized. What made me sick was the hospitalization. Took one look at me, said I have bipolar disorder, I'm autistic. I told them the whole time I don't, and all the medicine made my brain it just was killing me, and I just got off. So it's there's so much racism all the time everywhere.
Yeah, well, I have to agree with you. There's a lot of racism in the city of Santa Cruz, and there's a lot of cop brutality, and it seems like every problem that we have in our city, the answer is they hire another cop.
Yeah,
Where
right.
the cost of paying for a cop could provide housing for a couple of people.
Yep.
But thank you, Giles, for sharing that. Yeah, go ahead.
Not a question, but.
Or a comment, or you can endorse me,
Yeah, exactly. Just a comment. I have known the Panetta family, and there was a gal right here who was talking about.
She just stole half our yard signs.
Yeah, gosh darn it. I just
Distribute
do
them.
something. But he would never be in a room like this.
Right.
He goes in rooms with people with ties, buffet tables where there are waiters to take away the plates, wine that has, vintage on it, and he's in the pocket of all those folks. And when he talks about being for democracy and the people, he is for the people, but his people, Carmel Valley people who drive the same car he drives.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
100%.
that's all, and it's, when it's like that, we don't have a real pathway. Several years ago, I tried to call, just to see if I could get a little bit of an audience. No, never responded.
Oh, you're saying you tried to meet with Panetta for a few minutes?
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I ran in 2024 was a group of activists, and I couldn't even get 5 minutes when he was in district, just to talk about some of his foreign policy. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
He doesn't listen to us, right?
No.
The people in this room he does not listen to.
So we're almost like the Democratic underclass in that we are that kind of an underclass because we don't merit his attention. I guess not enough money, not enough. I don't know. Not dressed right. Don't drive. Yeah. Anyhow, support this guy.
Yeah, okay, Okay, so before you go, make sure you take a yard sign if you don't already have one. If you don't have a place where you could put a yard sign, take a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Although, actually, the t-shirts were running low, we just ordered a bunch. You can go on our website, you can order a campaign t-shirt. I think we're pretty, I don't think we charge anything specific. Again, I think we pay like $9. So if you could chip in $9 or more, preferably more, that would be awesome. And we've also got some quarter pagers. Do we have quarter pagers for people to hand out to their friends? Do we have a bunch over there? Yeah, take those. Those lay out the main policy positions that we're advocating. And then the door hangers, there's just a few on there on the table. Those are samples. We've got thousands of them, including right here today. But if you're interested in doing lit dropping, so that's like, you don't have to go knock on doors and talk to people and be awkward and weird. You can, we're actually just asking you to go bloop, put it on the doorknob, which is a lot easier. So if you're interested in doing that, reach out to the campaign, hit the volunteer button, and we'll hook you up with a training session. Go ahead,
We
Henry.
have one of the canvassing apps so we know.
PDI.
PDI? Oh,
Yeah.
you do have it? Okay,
Yeah.
so we can know which neighbors are already been covered with the list.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. That'll be all covered. So Amanda Harris back there, if you could raise your hand, Amanda. So that's Amanda. She's my field director. She is our PDI manager.
Okay.
So if you press the volunteer button on our website, you'll get connected with us, and we'll set up a training session with you. And since I quit my job in January to run, it means I have a lot of time during the day.
There you go, there you go.
There you go. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating. Okay, no, I don't have a lot of time, but I have some. I will come out to you. I will drive. I mean, we'll have to schedule it, obviously. So that's just like, it's true, I don't. I feel like I have all the time, but no, anyway, yeah, I'll come out to you and we'll train. Yeah. Sorry, Ashley.
Well, I want to start a live show online with him, and now I have to coordinate that because we don't have it scheduled yet. But we need to get him out there more, and as you can see, like we got a good group here, right? But it's gonna take all of us, and we have to be loud. So tell 2 people after this today, and that's
5.
Yes. Okay. I mean,
Did I hear 10?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if you see something on social, share it.
Good point. Yeah,
direct
follow us on
message.
social.
I mean, it sounds so trivial, but every single action, every single time somebody says something or passes a flyer to somebody else is an opportunity for us to be heard and to be seen and
Yeah.
to spread awareness.
Yeah, good point.
Just if you set up a live show, try to do it on as many platforms as possible, like TikTok, Instagram.
We've got a
I
StreamYard.
know.
We've got a
No, we
StreamYard.
don't have StreamYard. I guess.
Oh,
We'll give it
we'll
to
have
you.
StreamYard.
It might be OBS. I don't know. I need help with that.
Love OBS.
Yeah, OBS.
I
Good.
use
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
What's OBS?
Open broadcasting software,
OBS?
Streamlabs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So we
right.
want to get them out there.
Yeah,
share.
Yeah,
and
share.
thank you for taking time out of your day to share your stories and to, be a part of this community as people who care about other people.
Thank you.
Go show.
Fight for someone you don't know.
Bernie, right?
Yeah.